Florinos, we are getting ready to make the cutest little bunny kit, and it's going to start off with this cute little bunny basket. I mean, what a great start. Then we're going to use a couple of these adorable wildflower picks. You're going to get 2 of those in the kit. And then this one right here is a super cute little bunny spray with little pom-poms and pip berries. The only things you're going to need some floral foam, which you can pick up at your local craft store. You'll need a way to glue it in, so either hot glue or you can use, like we do, the electric skillet with the glue. And then you'll need some wire cutter. You don't really need scissors, but you're going to need wire cutters to be able to cut some of these pieces. So you guys can get this kit from us. I thought this might be fun to do with your kiddos or grandkids. It's just a sweet little project, and when you're done, you will have this little guy right here, all decked out with the cutest little Easter arrangement. Now, if you want to grab the kit, just text us. The text number is 832-734-5201. Text this kit. It'll take you to all our most recent kits. Remember, if you're working with kiddos, though, you've got to supervise the hot glue to be really safe, y'all. So let's take that really seriously. All right. So the first thing you're going to have to do once you have your kit is you're going to prep the basket. So this has a cute little wired handle, and I am going to go ahead and put some floral foam in there. And instead of it being low, I want it to be kind of high, so that way I don't have to worry about cutting these really long. They can be kind of short and overflowing out of the head. So really easy, just take and glue. If you don't want it to be permanent, don't glue it. I'm going to make it permanent and sell it just like it is. Make some cute little pieces. I'm going to pop that right in, okay? Now let's turn her towards us. Now you can take her little wired whiskers and her ears, and while I'm working with her, I'm just going to bring them down, okay? So they're kind of out of our way for a second or out to the side, and then we'll bring them up in a minute once we kind of get the final look. I mean, it's cute. You can play with those things and make her look different. Now, we're going to start with our greenery and work with it first. This one, I want you to go slow in breaking it down because we don't want a million little wires. We want to have a couple of chunks to work with when we break it down. So let's take a look at it and separate it. And it's not too difficult to do. Just tear it down like this. And then these stay in nice smaller clusters where there's a couple of things per stem. And we're going to take and just trim those off. So let's start with one bush, and we're going to work with our first bush all the way around the perimeter, okay? So let's get going with that. I'm going to start with the pieces that have the greenery and the fern and make a little cluster like this, kind of zigzag that around and make you a little cluster. And make sure that this is going to pop out over my edge. So let's put one on this side, beautiful, and kind of having it go out. Perfect. Now I'm going to grab the other piece that has a nice chunk of greenery right here. And this one come together in a little cluster with 3 or 4. And I'm going to put that on this side. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just gather those together, just twist them around, and that can go on the other side. I love making these sweet little pieces. I just think they're so fun. We've done these for other seasons, but this is the first one we've done one for Easter. Just creating our own little basket. So we have one on either side. Let's use one towards the front, the one that doesn't have quite as much greenery. Let's have that pop out the front. Just swirl that around your glue, go right up here to the front. Oh, cute. Push that a little bit down. And now I can kind of bring those ears together and kind of see how that's going to look. I love that. Now I have one little piece here that's just a berry. Let's take that and just push that into here. Just gently into that foam, and then it can kind of pop out right here of her cute little, between her ears. So cute. Let's do one more there. How about a little flower? So I'm cutting these just a little bit shorter and just pushing those a little bit lower on the foam. Cute. All right, looking good. Now let's grab our second bush. And basically, where you put the stuff before, we're going to go in between that slightly with a couple of the greenery pieces. And then we're going to save the other until after we get our bunnies in. You guys, if you don't have, or you've never shopped with us before, you guys, our website is Keleas, KELEAS.com. I love to teach you floral design, and we do fun, whimsical pieces, but then we do serious, dramatic pieces. We love all the holidays, of course, to decorate and go to town, but we would love it if you'd come over to the website, take a look around, and enjoy our, we have lots of free content available for you on all the social medias, and then when you're ready to learn step by step to create, we have a wonderful class that we've created over the past, oh my gosh, it's already been like 5 years teaching others to design, and I just adore my students and how hard they work in making beautiful pieces. And this is a fun, cute design, but they make gorgeous wreaths, amazing garlands and swags. You should see their Christmas trees. They are excellent designers. I'm super proud to call them my KDS Blue Merinos. I'm going to put this up here, kind of coming out the side. So I want that to be really wispy and overflowing. So cute. Can you guys see it? Oh my gosh, that's cute. I love, love, love it. Okay, let's save all of this until after we get our bunnies in, okay? Because then we're going to fill in with the after the bunnies. So these cute little bunnies are going to be hopping right out of this adorable basket. So what we want to do is we're going to use the same kind of technique. We're going to tear this down a little bit and try to keep these in clusters. So I'm going to take the first bunny. She's a little shorter, so that's no problem. We're going to use her. Shake hands, take and make her stand up pretty like that. Make sure this is going to stay clustered. Hold it in your fingers like a pencil. Gently swirl that in your glue, okay? And you just grab it on the side of your glue pot to get rid of the string. You don't have to do anything fancy. And I'm going to put this little bunny in here. She'll be our low bunny. We're going to have a low and a high. And that's kind of a design principle. She's down here chilling low. Oh, perfect. Now let's do another one. She'll be up a little higher. You might be able to see her a little more from the front. And the other one will come a little bit more into play in the back. So I'm trimming this off. And then I'm going to just twist those together and shape her all up. And make sure you manipulate each of those pieces, okay? Give that a swirl. Now, it's so relaxing to make these. These are so fun. And when you get the kit, you don't have to worry about there being too much supplies or too little supplies. You get exactly what you need to make it. And I'm going to have her just pop up. So these guys are just chilling. They're just chilling in our basket. Okay. Now, finally, we've got our little balls here. We've got those left on the bunny pick. So I'm just going to trim those off. And I'm just going to balance this off. I've got pieces going this way in the back here. I've got pieces going this way. So now I'm going to come over here and go in the front. Kind of over to my right. So now, these look like killer twigs that are popping out everywhere. See how cute she's looking? Oh my gosh, she's chilling. She looks so cute. Let me take this little piece out right here and I'm going to shorten it up a little. If you feel like something's a little too long, no big deal. Trim it, take a little off, and then just pop it back in. You can do that with any piece in here. Okay, now we are down to our last few steps, and what I want you to do is make sure you text us already so you can grab that kit. 832-734-5201. Not only can you get the kit, but you can get all kind of links to everything you need. Like, do you want to follow us here wherever you're watching this video? You can do that right now. You can ask for those links in the text messages and things will automatically appear back to you. And the reason we like you on our text is you can get an answer immediately. You don't have to wait for customer service and you can get what you need when you need it. I'm rotating this around to make some more little clusters. I think you're going to have so much fun with this. Y'all could just make a ton of these. These are so cute. They're just going to be so cute sitting up with all the fun Easter pieces you've got. I love all the colors we've got in here. Especially, I love that pop of yellow. Oh my gosh, I think it looks so super cute. So we're just going to spin it around a little, see where you might have a hole. I think I'm going to put a little pink berry here. So you're looking at the back now. But look how cute those bunnies are from the back. So this looks great from the back also. Oh man, let me pop this one in. There's a little more floral there. And this one's just strictly greenery, and I think it would be super cute just coming straight up the middle between the bunnies. And it's a little bit longer, and we'll let it just be the plane breaker. It's gonna break the plane of the handle and look adorable. Holy smokes, we made that so quick, and she's so super cute and fuzzy, waiting to have some fun with your family this Easter, and definitely make your own. All right, Bloomerinos, don't be a stranger. Follow us, like, subscribe, and share wherever you're watching, and don't forget to head over to verticallease.com to grab your kit. All right. See you next time. Go have fun with flowers. Okay, Bloomerinos, we're going to start off with a wreath base, and then we're going to add some gorgeous greenery to kind of shape out our design. So I'm using something a little different today. This is a ginkgo leaf. I love the way this looks. It is a really neat greenery to use, especially for spring, because it kind of looks like cabbage leaves, and it gives this really gorgeous, like, neat green texture, and they're just really cool. So we're going to put this in first to kind of shape out our base. We're going to cut down our bush. We're going to need some wire cutters and trim them right off your bush. Just like this. So I'm going to get started here by putting these in. And I'm going to start kind of and decide what shape do I want my piece to be. And for me, I just like to work on the left side. So I'm going to do that right now. So every time I put in a piece, I also have to come in and add a little Spanish moss to cover up my glue. So I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to make a little Spanish moss ball and put it in there right on my glue. I'm just going to kind of start to separate it and put these pieces in. It kind of fans out really fun like this, and we can start to put these pieces in right here. I'm going to go this way. I am really excited about working with this color palette with all the purples. If you've never designed or worked with purples, you're going to be shocked. There's a lot of people who love purple, the color. So they want it for their home. They want it for their accents and their seasonal pieces. And you can go anywhere from the deep purples to the lavenders. It doesn't have to be trending. It can just be that some of your customers will like that. And when you're going into the spring or early summer, I think purple's a lot of fun. So I'm going to kind of come down here, keep adding a little bit more. And you want to shape out each of your stems when you're using it. See how these are just so pretty, organically pretty? I'm going to keep bringing them in. How about to right here? I'm going to go to right here. And then I'm going to kind of change direction in a second, so we can go the other way. Let me put this one in. So we got this nice little flow going up and around. And one of the things you'll have to learn as you start to design more is you have to kind of draw people's eyes in different directions. And how are you going to do that? So that's one thing I like to teach in designs. Let's bring one more in. I think we'll go right here. Okay. Really, really pretty. So we got a great base of the ginkgo in. I like that. It's looking good. I'm gonna put my Spanish moss in there. Let's put one more maybe up here for a little height. And we're gonna have some left. So that's good because you're gonna wanna have some greenery left from your two bushes so you can come in and add it to different locations as you start to put your design together. All right, come on in, buddy. Let's put a little bit more moss in here. So I use the moss to hold the glue, but also to hold space in the wreath sometimes, because that kind of secures your pieces really nice. And it's a technique I've used for years, and I love it. Now, you're gonna grab your next stem, and it has berries. It has like a little of like a hydrangea cluster, and then a really nice fern. This is such an easy stem to work with. These are great. I'm gonna take and separate it out, and we're gonna cut it into 3 different pieces. So I have 2 of these, and I'm going to cut them to 3 sections. Cut it down, baby, down. I'm doing about, I usually like to cut them to about 3-inch stems. So you see how here I'm separating it? Just cut it, and you get that nice little cluster on its own. Don't be ever afraid to cut up these stems into different pieces, because you can make them go so far. And definitely shake hands with this. If you don't know what shake hands means, that is a term I use in design school. What it means is we're going to take and we're going to use all these great wires. You know, I only work with nice quality florals that really hold up well for my customers, and so I really like to shape it all up. You want to use the wires that are in there. Okay? Now, these berries,
And these little hydrangea clusters on here, they're going to work like our main flower in this. It's going to be different. It's going to have this real natural look. So I need to have good distribution of these over the whole design. So I've got to think about them when I start to put them in. Now, notice how fun this is. Like, this reminds me kind of like a wisteria, how it comes and trails over. So these kind of pieces are great to use on the edges right here, where it can trail over and out. So I'm going to go right into my glue over here. And then I'm going to bring it in over here to the side. If you don't know what a glue skillet is, I'll be happy to share our video with you about that, so you can learn all about a glue skillet and have your own. But that's what you see me dipping them into, kind of off camera, right over here. Okay. Now I got another little hanging one. Man, I love these hanging ones. I love anything that hangs or trails or is curvy. If you didn't know that, now you do. Okay. So I'm going to use this one kind of opposite down here. Now, our flow goes up and over. So I need that hang to match that up and over look. So I can't just stick it in down there. I've got to have it kind of come in here to go up and over, or up here. And I'm going to go, I think, right here. Oh, I love this. I love this. Put my glue on, and I'm going right in this section right here. And make sure you're coming behind and you're double checking that you have plenty of moss in there. Now see how quickly it's coming together? When you work with good quality materials, things build up faster. There's a lot less labor involved. Now I'm working with the pretty berries. Look at this. I'm shaping it up. I want to get some little bit of shape going on. And we're going to put one of these right here, kind of going up into this area. I gave it a swirl in my glue, and now I'm coming right in here. I'm going to fluff out. Oh, you see those ginkgo leaves going to work on this? This is pretty. Pretty. I'm loving it. Okay, now let's come down and up in the next section. So I'm going to use this one right here. And we're going to do the same thing. Shake hands. My big pet peeve is leaves being backwards, so I'll work hard to try to keep them from being backwards. I'll flip them around. I hate it when they're backwards. Ugh. All right, and I'm going to come right down here. So we got a great distribution so far. Good spacing on here. We're doing excellent. I like the look we're creating. Make sure you come back over that glue with Spanish moss. I'm going to tuck it in there, and I'm going to hide the glue, but then I'm also going to use it to get in there and hold it in place. That looks really good. And these are such great wired stems. You can pull them out, and you want to do that because you want to create depth, because that means you're going to be able to sell your wreaths for more if you're a seller, or if you are making them for yourself, your wreath's going to be unlike anybody else has in the block. And when you create all this depth, it's going to make your little heart so happy every time you walk past it. That's what I like. All right, we have these smaller ones. So I'm going to take this one, and it's going to tuck right here, right to the side of that ginkgo. And I'm going to try to be neat and clean when I put this one in, because I kind of have a termination point for my florals over here, and I don't want it to be too messy. So I'm going to try to tuck it in, make it kind of pretty, just like that. And what I'm going to do is take this little piece, we're going to cut that off, and we're going to use it to hide the glue so it's a little prettier right here. So I'm going to just trim it off. We're going to put a little glue on the back, and we're going to go just right on that place. I'll put a little glue right there, and we're going to just let this lay right on top. Watch your glue strings if they're getting you. Got a pretty good one there. All right, and so that has a nice starting point to flow from. We can always add more greenery, and we'll work on a little detail there, but I want to make sure I had a bigger piece to hide the mechanics of the glue there. And then we're going to use this last piece right in here. So I've got a good flow of purple, and I've got my white, and I've got my good berries working all the way up. I could even divide this into two if I wanted, and I could put a little more of the one of them up there, split it, and have a little bit here and a little bit there. I think I'll do that. Oh, this is such a fun one. If you're a purple lover, let me know in the comments, because usually I'm always so amazed. My design school students will be like, I love purple. We have a lot of people who love it. And they're ready to work with it every time we do. All right, let's come up here. We'll go in this section. And we're going to put that berry. And I just kind of went between those two little places. Looks good. Now, before we get to the twiggy part, we're going to put the grasses in. I want you to step back and look for holes right now. And so that means you're going to look out on the shape of your design. And then wherever we have like a little hole, like here, we need a little bit more greenery in here. That's where we're going to bring some more greenery in. And we're going to start to kind of check the inside and check the outside. You're going to want to do both. Just check that line. So when you're checking the line, you're stepping back from your work and your design, and you are looking at the perimeter and the inside. If the inside of your wreath is open, you want to make sure you are giving it a good line. A really good line. I'm going to bend that one out. There we go. Oh, perfect. Let's put a little bit on the outside here. And I'm taking a little bit of care on the perimeter right here, because this is where our wreath starts and it goes around. I don't have direction changes in this design, so it's a little bit different. It's fun. It's fun to do these. I'm going to tuck this one up and underneath. Oh, you want to make sure it's going into the grapevine, not just going through the back. Perfect. See how pretty it looks down there now? It looks good. Yeah, that looks great. Come on in here, buddy. All right, now let's go up into here and add a little bit more in there. So this process will continue on until you are happy with what you are seeing. Let's go right in there. Oh man, and then we're gonna make it wispy. We're gonna make it wispy next. I'll get so excited. All right, let's come to the top. Let's go to the top, and I'm gonna trail over with these. Come bring these over. I'm gonna bring this one in right here. Oh yeah. And then let's do one just a little bit higher above. And I'm gonna have one piece left from my ginkgo bush, and I think I'm gonna hold on to it just to make sure I don't need to fill in anywhere else, you know, at the last minute, in case there's some little area I need it. This right here is a gorgeous wreath, guys, which is 2 supplies from Khalees.com, and we haven't even got to the next level, so we got more to go. But I love it already. Now we're to the grass part. So we're gonna put the grass or the twig, or sometimes the filler flower. In this case, this is gonna work like a double doozy. So in design school, we talk about filler flowers and grasses and why we're using them. And here we're using this as 2 for 1. So you're gonna take this, and it's easy to work with because all you gotta do is just take and cut these down into sections. If you tear them, then that just goes a little faster and a little bit easier on your hands. And you can save this wire for other projects you have going. Once you do that, you do have to kind of trim up the ends. All right, just make them neat and clean. You always have to make them neat and clean, otherwise you're gonna have a mess. We're ready to start putting these in. Our flow starts here. So you wanna start here and work all the way up, and I want a little of this drama everywhere in here. I don't wanna just have it just in one spot. I might actually start up and work down. So that way I make sure I get the drama at the top. So let's go in here. Come on, drama. I love putting twigs in, and flowering twigs and grasses are beautiful. So I'm gonna bring my first piece in, and I'm gonna manipulate it, give it all that movement we talk about. So important. Now this functions as its own little drama here. So we're gonna kind of let that hang there. We're gonna come a little bit down. It's got its own cool drama. I've never had a berry or a twig that I didn't like. Pretty much. Never. Okay, we're gonna push this one in. This one's gonna go right here. Beautiful. And now I'm gonna work a third one. How about a third one in more to the, maybe to the outside right here. Okay? Isn't that pretty? And we're kind of creating this line that's coming down on the outside. You know, like a horse's mane? That's what we're kind of doing right now. Bring this one down a little bit more. So pretty. And all of these grasses are working to the outside. And that way, this keeps this very interesting, very different And like, we want it to be different than you could just pick up at your local store. We want it to have flavor. And we want to say we made it ourselves. And we, you know, you can make your own designer wreaths. You don't have to go buy them. If you want to make your own, we're here to show you how. Let's bring one more into here. Now, if the idea of this just being on the outside just totally freaks you out, Cleve, I have to have some from the inside. That's okay. Go ahead. You cut yours a little bit shorter and put some from the inside. But I am going to keep mine all on the outside here. Try to keep people's eyes just going, whoa, so pretty. I'm going to put this leaf here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're going to put number 6 kind of coming over the front. Still working on that outside, but just coming over here. Now, if you wanted to do this and you wanted to keep going all around, you could just get one more bush of everything and you would be set. You could come and complete the circle. I love making things asymmetrical like this. So, beautiful. Do you ever have some pieces of ribbon left that you're like, what am I going to do with these short rolls of ribbon? And I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to find pieces of that ribbon that coordinates and goes together, like the collection we're using today. And you're going to make the cutest little scrap bow, and it's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to start off by grabbing some ribbons that coordinate together. Here I'm working with a really pretty purple color palette. You can see I've got dark and light and check and just a bunch of different colors with purple in there. So they're different shades of the same color. And I'm going to start off with a base that's kind of really bold. So I'm going to start with this. It's going to be a cute little plaid. And I've cut it at about 12 inches long. A regular standard bow we would go from 12 to 14 on both sides of the bow. So we're going to do that here. Okay. So I've just dovetailed both ends. So that means I just fold it and cut up to make the little dovetail. And that's going to start at the base. And all I've got to do is just build up from there. So I'm going to cut another one. And even if you don't know like the order you want to put it in, that's okay. Just start taking your scraps and cutting them. We're going to start with everybody at the 12 inches to start because we're going to build out a little base. I think you're going to like this kind of bow. We've done this a couple of times, but I don't think we've done one for the spring season before. It's fun to do these for different seasons, and you're going to find you're going to have pieces of ribbon left that, you know, you need to use up, and you can add these little bows or big bows to almost anything, and they kind of give you that different look. All right, so now I've got that one done. So I've got the check. So here comes all our 4 patterns. Now this is all wired ribbon, so you can, you know, make it go up or down or move it around. It's got movement to it. Let's bring our purple in. All right, we're gonna bring it in. I'm gonna trim it. So once I kind of get my size, I just build up from there. Now let's start to layer it once I get my dovetails done. And we're gonna layer this up. So let's say, okay, maybe I'll put the solid in the back and then I'm gonna crisscross it just exactly how I want it here. All right, and I can kind of see a pattern starting. All right, now, so as you start to build up your little crisscross right here, then we can take and pinch it in the middle and kind of see how our bow's gonna look. Okay, we need some more. That's not enough. So let's cut some more pieces, okay? And we'll start to lay them out again. And let's do 2 of every piece and let's see how that works. And the cool thing is you don't have to make any of these the same. We're gonna just layer it up. Now, that's kind of a good background base that we just saw. So what if we started making them a little bit shorter, take off about 1 inch, and doing the same thing for our second piece. Now, if you want to know where we're going to use this bow in the end, let me know in the comments, and we'll share with you the link of that video where we end up using the bow. But right now, why do you think we're going to make these a little more narrow? Not narrow, but shorter. Why are we going to make them a little bit shorter than the first piece? So I'm going to give you a second to kind of pop some answers there in the comments. I don't want you to get all worried about measuring perfectly on this. This is like a scrap bow. It's supposed to be a lot of fun, and we don't have to worry about it just being perfect. So every time I cut a piece, I'm just cutting those little dovetails into the back. And we want them a little bit shorter. So see how this one's a little shorter? Perfect. We're going for about 1 inch shorter altogether. And I'm dovetailing this one. All right, now let's do one more of the check. It's going to be so fun. And, oh, I dovetailed it first before I even cut it. That's because I'm getting brave. Let me see, right about there. All right, so all my different pieces are cut. And now I've got 2 of each piece. One that we did at 12 inches and the other one we did, I would say, at about 10 or 11, something like that. So take your shorties and pull them off. So we're going to use those. Did you guess why we're going to use them? We're going to use those in the front, or I would call in design school the foreground of the design, the foreground of the bow, the front of the bow. Because they're shorter, they're going to let that background layer show up. So you're going to see that right now. All right, let's turn these and start to build our base. So I'm going to put a purple in. I'm going to layer this one kind of crisscross. I like that. And then I like a little separation between the drama colors. So I'm going to take and put a nice check in. Okay, and just keep gently twisting them. Crisscrossing, rather, not really twisting. And then I'm going to bring this one. How about this one? We kind of go like this. Oh my gosh, we're building this up so cute. All right, let's put on the next layer. Let's go. So now I want, since I have this purple here, just kind of make sure you're going across it. Okay, that's a little different right there, right? And then what about this? We want to go opposite this one. Ooh, we are making this so stinking cute. And then let's have this little check go opposite that one. And then this purple, maybe we'll work it right here. All right, now that we've done that, we kind of created almost like a star on the table. And the kind of the trickiest part will be to start to kind of move them just a little and start to pinch and gather this right here in the center. Just pinch and gather. Things are going to shift a little bit because you got to get them either to the right or the left of the center here. All right, once you start to pinch and gather, you're going to create the middle of your stinking cute bow. Look at this. Look at it popping up already. Oh my goodness. Look how cute. And all of a sudden, this little trim, like spare ribbon bow, is adorable. Now I'm fluffing a little bit here, but make sure you're happy with how you've got it, and look how cute that is. Now, you need to grab a wire or a cable tie or a pipe cleaner, whatever you want, whatever you prefer to use, and we got to make sure we're grabbing through that center and getting it nice and tight. All right, so I'm going to use my little green cable tie, one of my favorite things to use. Add some pressure, get it on there, and you can put it pretty tight. And now I've got to fluff it back out again. Look how cute this is going to be. So perfect. And what a great use for all that ribbon that's just kind of like, you've just got little bits left. Oh my goodness, y'all. So stinking cute. Now, trim off this part of the cable tie. Right here, I'm just using a little wire cutter to cut that off. And I think for your last step, you don't have to. You could use it more like a pom-pom and pull these up forward. But I'm going to spread it out more like a bow so it kind of keeps that bow shape I love. Like this. Y'all, I hear Nori. Nori's telling us, Mama, I'm here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take and add a little ribbon to the center. That's just one of my signature moves. And I think this pretty dark purple would be beautiful in there. And we're going to use that to cover our little cable tie. We don't need a whole lot. I'm doing about 6 inches. And I'll just take and fold it over. And I'm just folding it like this to get a little strip. I did 3 folds this time to get a little bitty strip. And I'm going to tie that. That's so cute. I'm going to tie that right in the middle. I love this. I hope you try this kind of scrap bow where you can make your own. You don't have to use scraps. We can plan on this from the beginning. If you love this purple color combo and you're one of our purple people, we'll have a supply list so you can get this exact ribbon right here. But look at that. Precious, adorable. I can't wait for you to try this simple bow. And if you've never made a bow before, this might be the perfect one. Think of all the combos you could do in there. That would be a blast. You could mix so many patterns. You're going to have fun. We've got the cutest little bunny door hangers that have come in, and we have been playing with these in design school, and I love using them. But I'm going to give you a little tip today that you can use on these door hangers or any other project you ever see. As even though this comes with one style of bow, what I can do is I can take and change the whole look of this just by changing out the bow here at the bottom. And it's really that easy. And there's always lots more you can do to make it even pop more, but we're going to show you how to do that really easy. I'm going to take my door hanger here, and I am going to start off by deciding, you know, how far I want to deconstruct this. I could just take off this bow and just go, you know, keep it very natural and just keep the burlap in the background. Ooh, I was able just to pull it. Sometimes you may have to, you know, be careful and not tear it up. And you can save this for something else. Okay, pull that out. And if I just want this natural kind of country, kind of a garden look, this would be perfect. But if I want to go like a completely different way with my finished look on this, I can even take and pull off these. They're usually glued on, so we'll try to pull it. And then if it won't pull, we'll just gently snip it. You just have to be careful that you don't destroy things. You might have to use a little muscle. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, y'all. Ha! Look at that. And I pulled it off, and I have the bunny head just right here like this. And super simple. And now there is a little bit of the ribbon or glue there, but no big deal. We're going to completely come in with another look. Now this one has a hanger on it, but we'll be using this bunny in either a centerpiece or a wreath, so I'm not even going to need the hanger, so I can take and just trim that off and take and kind of hide this in the back. When I did that in design school, I used this bunny. I just took and just kind of hid it back here. Super easy. So I'm going to do a little knot back here, and you won't even see it now, okay? There it goes. It looks really finished on the front. These little ears have wires in them. So when you get an embellishment, you know, feel around. Does it have wires? Can I take and how can I take and make this look a little bit better than when I just first got it? Or how can I change it for a different look I want out of the same piece? I got his little ears up. I fixed his little whiskers. They're looking adorable. Now I want to go ahead and add in the bow right here to the center. We made this bow on another video. This is one of the scrap bows I love making. If you need a link to learn how to make that, just let us know. We'll put it in the comments. And I am just going to tuck this right under his little chin right here. And we're going to glue that on. But before I do it, I want to think about how I can manipulate my ribbons to kind of come down a little bit. And I think it would even be precious if we were able to add like a little bit of greenery in there too. So I'm going to grab some greenery and we're going to pop that right into here. So I'm going to grab a greenery like this. It's just a really subtle looking piece where I've got greenery with a little bit of lavender. So look how perfect. This is just a perfect little greenery. So I'm going to get 2 pieces of that. So I don't need a whole lot off this bush. And I'm going to come in and just get 2 of these little longer pieces like this. So just like that. I want you to cut a couple of pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of glue these behind our bow when we put them in. We don't have to get really fancy here. We're just going to lay them on the muslin. And I'm going to come in with some glue. I've got my electric glue skillet off to the side. And what I want you to do is just take here and lay a little glue right there. Pop in a little bit of greenery on either side here. It's going to come out of the bow. So simple. That went in first, okay? And it's kind of, I've got it nicely melding in the fabric and they're touching each other. So I'm making a nice little glue sandwich here. And then here comes some more glue. And we're going to layer this right on top, a little bit below it. I don't want the bow to be too high. I want to kind of bring it low. And then I'm going to take the bow and we're going to just push that right in here. So we're going to hold it for just a minute. And while I'm holding it, I can take and fluff it out while I'm holding it tight in that center because I need that glue to set up. And then I'm going to bring just little bits of this greenery through, just like that. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Oh my gosh. That simple change is quite different from our original bunny, but not that difficult, really easy to like change the look of a wreath attachment that you want to use. And now this is going to go perfect in any type of other piece. And if I want to add this to a dowel, this could go in a centerpiece. If I left that hanger on, we could have left this as a door hanger, or I can just go through the back and attach it on a wreath or whatever works for my decor and how I like to decorate. Hey Limerinos, we're going to do the last few steps of this project. Have you been following along our adventure while we've been creating this project step by step? And we've been having so much fun doing different things with it and kind of building on the style of the design. So in one video, we made this entire wreath here, and we taught you how to put these pieces in place in order to get this gorgeous, lush look with the ginkgo leaves and the berries. And then on another video, we showed you how to make this scrap bow right here in order to kind of take your wreath attachment to the next level and make it look different than others that will have the same attachment as you. If you need the link to either of these videos, just let us know. They're all in the supply list for this project, and you can watch the whole progression as we bring the project together. But our very last step is to add the bunny head to the wreath. Because this is on a wire, nice little wire frame under here, it's got a lot of stability. All we need to do is just take an awl that's kind of like an ice pick, and it has this little pointy tip, and it goes really easily through fabric, and it can poke right through it. I make this little pokey poke through the back, okay? We give him a piercing. This bunny's been wanting to get a piercing, whether he wants it or not. Then we're gonna pull that out, and then all we've got to do is run a cable tie. You can use a wire. They have a little bit more rigidity, so they're a little bit easier to get through here. And then you just run that right through there. And I'm gonna come over to my wreath base. And this wreath is just so sweet the way we designed it to where the bunny can just sit right in there. Isn't that adorable? And we're gonna put it right in. Let me move you guys over so you can see it really good here. There we go. So I'm gonna put the bunny in right here to the little hole we left. And then we'll just take and cable tie him right in. And now we're gonna get this nice and tight right here to this part of the, you won't even notice. He'll be sitting in there so cute. And I'll just take some wire cutters and trim off the cable tie part. Just like that. Now my last step is I'm gonna just fluff out his little scrap bow we made to go on there. And these ears have wires. And then he's set, ready to go. And not only did you learn how to make this one design wreath, but we showed you 3 different ways to work with the same concept to kind of take it different directions. And that's the kind of tips and tricks I teach you every week in design school. And we would love to have you in our class so you don't miss another minute of learning how to design and all the skills, tips, and tricks that you need to take your work to the next level. We don't want you just pushing and shoving things in. I want you to have proper placement and learn how to create lines, depth, and dimension in your pieces. And I'd love to show you. So come join us in design school. And y'all, if you need the links to any of this, just ask in the comments. We'll send you to the supply list. And the supply list has links for everything. And you won't ever be lost again. We are going to make the cutest bunny centerpiece today. And she's going to be large and in charge, and we're going to make her, this one is in a wreath kit, or actually a centerpiece kit, so it's everything you need will be in the kit to make it. The only thing you will need to buy separately will be some floral foam, and I'm going to use a couple of, these are scraps that we have from leftover pieces from a big sheet that we had cut them out of. So I'm going to need that, and then we're going to be using some green berries that come in the kit. Then we're going to work with the cream green fishtail to create our greenery base. And for our floral color palette, we're going with all creamy white. We're going to use the cherry blossom bush that has all the good filler in it. I love that. And we're going to use 2 stems also. I need these for some length because we're going to do this design where it comes up on the back also. So she's going to be surrounded in her own cute little garden. So I've got a couple of these, and then lots of twigs this week, 3 twigs, branches We're going to work with our artificial twigs so we can get a lot of dimension. And I think this one's going to be so much fun, and we're going to put her in her own garden. Now, she comes with this cute little bow on here. We can leave that on, or we can take it off. It's got some little bitty nails in there, and we can do something totally different around her neck, which would be cute too. Right now, I'm going to leave that be and keep it really neutral. That light pink is fine, and just keep it how it is. But we've got to get the foam in. So I'm going to take a little block, and we're going to keep it pretty low. So if we go right here, I think that would work fine. We don't even need it this big. We could cut it a little shorter. So that one's a little bit shorter. We can just use this one. So I'm just going to have it flush. Now I've got a little of this burlap ribbon, because I'm going to run a little piece of that on the bottom just to keep it really neat and clean on the bottom of the foam before I even put it on. So I'm going to take this and trim it off. Now you can't be running this all the way up too far up the sides, because you want to be able to put possibly picks in the ends. So just go halfway up the sides, okay? I'm just going to go old school glue here. I'm not going to do anything too fancy. We're just going to run some glue down here. Okay? And I'm going to run it down the middle. And then we just need a little bit on each side just to kind of hold it in place. This is what's going to cover that on the bottom. And just let it set for just a second before you push into it, because it kind of can melt the ribbon just a little bit. Give it just a second. And then we're going to come behind, gently push it down. All right, and that's going to be ready to go right there on the edges. Now on the very edges, and to help hold this in place, we can put a pin or a floral pin. Usually a regular stick pin goes through better. I'll try a floral pin, but sometimes they're a little hard to get through the ribbon. But just, oh, it went good. Yay. Just pin it in to make sure it's holding it. So now we got a nice finished edge for on the countertop, okay? I do want to put some Gorilla Glue on the bunny first. Generally the wood, hot glue does fine, but it just seems if I use the combo, I got a great backup plan. So I'm going to go ahead and lay her down flat. All right, and down here is where this is going to go. I'm going to try to line that up as close as possible. So like right here to here. And we're just going to do like a nice little zigzag of the Gorilla Glue. That'll be my backup. And then we'll put the hot glue just right on top. And this is kind of a formulation I developed when I was just selling tons and tons of wreaths online. And I started doing a lot of stuff on metal because that dimension was so much fun and did so well for us. But you have to be careful that the glue doesn't pop off the metal. So that's where this whole idea came from. So I'm going to wiggle it down into place. We'll let it set there. And then I'll go ahead and stand it up before it gets completely set, because I want to make sure it's going to come down enough to hit the table. And now I'm just going to let this sit to start to dry like this, kind of on its side, so I don't get any drips on the table of my Gorilla Glue and all that good stuff. Okay, so while that's setting up, we're going to go to the back side of her and do the back side of the designs. Just flip her over. And now this piece is going to go up here, kind of where the little manufacturer tag is. See if I can get that off. There we go. That's the EPA stuff. If we can just kind of cover that right here, that would be great. Now, I'm not going to go so low this time, because I'm making this one-sided, because she doesn't have a face or anything on this side. So it'll be perfect if this could go like right here. Down a little bit, not down as far, but kind of mid-thigh is where I'm thinking, right in here, okay? So I'm going to go right over where the tags were with a nice little zigzag here of my gorilla. And then we'll dip it in the hot glue and we'll get her set up on this side. So think about your design and the structure you are using and how you want to kind of set up the foam, where you use, you want to use the least you can, and make sure you think about that positioning before you glue it on. Now, if a bunch of hot glue pokes out and is dripping, okay, all you got to do is just come in and put some foam on it. But I'm going to flip this and let it just sit like this to set up, and then our back foam is ready to go too. And like I said, if you want to keep the budget tight, I can just cover this whole thing with a little bit of the burlap ribbon and just have flowers coming out of the top. It looks neat and clean and polished, and it still looks great from one side. In our case, I think I'm going to try to hide this with some floral, and we'll see how that works. Okay, just a little bit, and then we're going to cut everybody to their full stem here. Okay, and I'm going to do this with one bush of fishtail. We're going to start off with one bush, setting the perimeter, and then we're going to hold our other bush for coming in doing the design work more towards the center. So our first one's going to occur right here at the center of this block of foam on the front. Okay, that's our number one. So what I want us to do is just start by putting, choosing a center point, which I'm just going to go right down the hip, and we're going to put one piece of greenery into the right, and then I'm going to put one into the left. That's just a simple start, okay? So that gives us some height here. Now we're laying her in. We're giving the design, oh, she's in a garden immediately, right? Because there's foreground we're creating. I'm going to scoot her over just a little bit so I don't melt this into my glue pot. And I'm going to come right down and just have these kind of lay right down onto the table. It's a little hard to see because it's green on green, but it's right there. So that one goes on the right of the transition. This is going to go on the left. I'm going to give these like a little movement forward and have them going out over the side over here. Okay, and we're going to push it in a little. There we go. And so I kind of got these equal on either side. We've got very lush cherry blossoms to go in here and lots of twigs, but I want to start somewhere with the greenery. Now let's go to the back. And on the back, I'm going to be pushing into the foam right here. You can see here, but I'm going to try to always design it from the front right now on camera so you guys can see what I'm doing so you don't see the back of it. So these are going to go straight up right now in the back. So I'm just going to put in one in the middle. Okay. And then we're going to have one kind of come back just slightly. So kind of arching back. So you see this one. So instead of really, you kind of have a transition point at the center and then these come back and forward, but not as strong. I still want this kind of coming up in a V shape. I hope that makes sense here in the background. These lighter color greeneries are hard to see. But before there's anything else added in, but just right there. Okay. Now this one could even kind of cheat through later if we wanted to and kind of come through right there. Oh, how cute is that? You see it kind of cheating through up here by the neck. That's beautiful. Long cherry blossom sprays, and we're going to take and shake hands with them like we always do, manipulating the leaves a little bit forward this time because I need her to show pretty from the front. She needs to face this way. She's got great leaves on this one, so I want to make sure I maximize that. I'm going to tighten up this cluster a little bit, and then we're going to cut off the stem where it's only about 4 inches. We're using the whole stem in one piece here. And I'm going to put this in this V that kind of comes between the two pieces of fishtail we already have in. So I'll just twist her a little bit to the side so you guys can see. I'm going to load her with a little glue. And when you're pushing heavier stems in, make sure you're holding onto the foam. We don't need to like try to knock off the foam. We just put it on there. So you see how pretty it is? This kind of, it looks a little bit rogue in this picture, but we're going to have a lot of twigs in a little bit that are going to balance it out. So it went up about 6 inches higher than the greenery in this case because our twigs are going to kind of come and be higher. Now we're going to take our other cherry blossom, and I broke it down where I kept the top two parts together right here, and I cut that piece off by itself. So it's cut into two sections, and we're going to work this taller piece over here kind of between her ears. I love the ability to work between the dimension. That just helps and creates more depth. So I'm going to go between these two. And then I'm going to put her right in here, pushing it in. And then I'm going to see if I can just slide this one between the ears. And maybe this one just kind of come forward, down, in front. Okay, so I'm still kind of working forward. Yeah, really cute. Now what I want you to do with the last piece that you have is we're going to try to work it right here. And this one's going to go to the right side of the transition, over to the right, and we want it right in there. Now you might have to work with the length of the stem like this a little bit too long. I'm going to trim it down just a little at a time so I don't have to go back and add a stem to it. Saving a step. This one's going to go on the right side of the transition, so it's going to move over. And I totally hit 3 leaves going in there. I should have just turned it around. I'm trying to get it where you can see what we're building. Okay, so this is looking neat and clean here on the back. Very good. And then this piece, I just want it to kind of come forward a little bit. These are such pretty floral. Oh my gosh. So pretty. So look at what we got going on in the back. Isn't that beautiful? We have all the cherry blossoms. Like she is popping out of there right now. Okay, we did great back there. Cherry blossom bushes are very easy to tear down. So that's one of the benefits of these guys. So I took and shook hands with each stem a little bit already, and now I'm breaking them down into shorter. I'm tearing them because I want them to be longer, okay? Anytime you want to save the length, if you will tear the stem, generally you can save the length on it. This is the center stem of the bush that's stronger. It doesn't really tear down anywhere from there, so I'm going to trim it off. So after we've tore everybody down, now we have to get their stems all neat and clean-ish by pulling off the paper. That's kind of not staying neat. And this one has a white stem and a green stem. So a lot of times, unless you can hide this, you would want to cut it off. But we're going to try to hide it in like the background of the design. So I'm not going to cut them quite yet. Once you do that, I'm just going to get rid of our little bit of garbage. And I'm not trimmed them yet because I want to start to lay it out. So I'm going to take 2 of the pieces that are going to go on either side of our transition that we created with the greenery previously, and start to spacing them out. I know I'm going to need 1 in each foreground on either side. So we can totally take and trim these short. Right here is fine. I'm going to need 2 of those. So I want them to be a similar size, which these are pretty much identical. So I can just hold them up to each other, trim them opposite. And you can always keep these little wires to little tie things together and stuff like that. So hold on to those to use them for something else if you need it. Now I'm going to take and shape this dude out just like this too. And we're going to put 1 on the right and 1 on the left. They're going to go more into the front of the foam, not on the edges right here, okay? So kind of push it in, and it's going on the front of the foam right here, right at the transition. We're going to do 1 on the left now. Okay, so we're going to start to fill in, and we're filling in flat to the table. You got to go a little bit higher because you've got a stem going in there. They can't be identical, okay? Now my next 2 are going to go right between the greeneries on either side. So I'm going to take another bush, and we're going to put this one aside. We'll take another bush and tear it down, because I need matchy-matchy pieces. That's okay. That's why we're going to use a couple bushes on this one. Here's our main stems. And then I will trim a couple of these down. And we're going to kind of come up from there. Isn't that pretty? And shape it out. Oh, man. So these will come right between right here. And this all stays nice and pretty and low. We don't need it up high, okay? I want it to go between those 2. And here's this one. So right here, and it's coming between those. So you see what a pretty garden we're automatically just putting her right in. Just so cute and pretty. Okay, we're looking fantastic. Now, I want to save a couple of pieces for the back side of the design because I wanted to kind of cover a couple of pieces around, potentially use these around the foam in the back. So I'm going to put these aside. Now what we want to do is we want to work with our center stems off the bushes and work those tight to the design here too. So I'm going to trim this off. So these are those thicker pieces of each bush, and these can easily break down into a couple of sections, and they have a nice strong base wire. So you're going to end up with a pick just like this, and this one can go right in the middle at the transition. Just pop in right in the middle. And then we don't have too much, I don't want to compete too much with this. I want to see her body there. But then we can use these pieces to kind of fill in down here at the base. So I'm going to come in just right, filling in the middle. And then we're going to come on the left. We'll do the same thing. And this stem I'm going to break down into 3 sections because I don't need the height for the middle. We covered that a minute ago. Okay, so here's 2 more little fluffy ones. And we can put these in there. So really quickly, we've been able to kind of break down those bushes. We're going on the left and right of the transition and just filling right in here. I'm going to take this small baby one and go to the left. Oh gosh, so pretty. And let's just put this one right in the middle. Now we still got berries and twigs to go in, and then we got to finish our mechanics in the back. But really, if you wanted to keep it super tight, super neutral, you didn't want to pop all the brown like we're about to do and make it more full, this could be a total stopping point. You would just need to come in with moss and cover your mechanics of your foam and hide your foam on the back with some ribbon and some moss. You could stop here totally. That would be fine. But of course, we're taking it to the next level, and we want to bring in a whole bunch of twigs to really make her pop. Let me not knock her over. But she's definitely in a garden. She's definitely adorable. You're going to grab, Bloomerinoes, we got to grab all of our twigs. They're going to all go in next. These are going to add that big drama, which gives her that fun, like, I don't know, it just makes her look so dimensional and gives you all this depth and makes you feel like, oh my gosh, spring is popping out. These branches are going to bloom. These are just beautiful twigs that, you know, that the new growth is coming. I don't know. It's just that the depth of the brown, and it picks up the rusticness of the bunny and the brown on the stems of the cherry blossom. It's exactly what this design calls for. Now, what I have to do is break these into 2 sections. Generally with this stem, it's pretty easy to do it. You do a cut here below and a cut right here, and you get 2 stems of 2 branches, and you get all that fun depth and dimension and drama that we're talking about even from those cuts. So here's one. One will be a longer stem when you cut it, and these will be a little shorter, okay? So I want you to do that with all 3 of your twig stems, okay? And we're going to separate them right now. So when we do that, I'm going to take all the long ones and put them in a pile. Let's see, longies and shorties. This is a shorty. This is, you can tell they all look pretty similar. The shorties are here, and the long ones, is that the right long one? I'm like all confident, and then I'm not. Well, they all have cuts. This one doesn't have a cut. There you go. They're kind of similar. The shorties you're going to put aside. We're going to use the shorties on the bottom. We're going to use the tall ones all on the top. So I'm going to separate them first. Now I'm going to move it just a little bit forward. We're going to start to create that real big drama coming. So step number 1, we already kind of have a line going with this bloom popping out the back, okay? So we want to continue that. And I'm going to take this and give these a little bend out to the right, a little bit. They're going to go right here. And then I'm going to turn this to the side just so I can see where I'm putting it in, not glue myself. And this is going to go right here, kind of mimicking that line. Careful when you push it in, you don't push too hard. So your first twig, you can see how pretty already that is. It just adds so much interest, and that's going out to the back. Okay, next twig. So I'm going to put that right through here. I'm going to get some glue, rotate her around, and we're going to come through the dang ear. I can wiggle her back through the ears in a second. I think if I try to get it through the ears hot glue, I'll just have a mess. So the first one I want to come all the way under is the plan. Come in here, buddy. I think. Or maybe it goes through the middle. Let's bring the first one through the middle. I think that's more of what we were thinking. Let me turn it back around. Okay. That's fine. I like this coming this way. I'm going to give it a bend. This one's going up a little high, so I'm going to make sure it bends over too. So make sure it kind of comes down. Not too harsh of a bend. Go light with that wire in there and just get it a nice little curve. Because I want it to kind of pop over her head and then this go here. Oh yeah, perfect. So we got the drama going on. I love the twigs. We got 2 twigs in the back. All right, so I'm going to give this a good bend before I even get her in. She's going to go in right here. I love this fun neutral color palette. You can just use her for different things too. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And this kind of comes over. So I'm going to start off with my front set of twigs, like the one we used in the middle. And this one's just kind of shoot up towards the front. Okay, so I'm going to just take and give them a little motion to the left because I don't want to compete straight up. We're going to, this, if we say this is a triangle this way, this is going to be a triangle this way. So they're alternating. And that's going to give you good placement on these and not get too heavy on the twigs. They're heavy, but not competing against each other in the lines. Okay, let's go this way. Beautiful. Give it a little motion down. She's so pretty. Okay, now we're going to do our back one, which is just slightly. We want it to kind of meld with this. So when this comes out, these kind of work together. Okay, so that's what I see going. These are going to be just a little bit of tighter curve because I want them to sit inside that curve. I love this. She's looking great, guys. Let's bring it down in here. Oh my gosh, perfect. So now I've got a repeat. I've got like a little bitty cool cavern going on here. Now, up towards the front, what you may not be able to tell right now, even though this is part of this triangle, it's working with this. So when we bring that third one out, we want to go a little bit more out forward, which is what we talked about before. So I'm going to just definitely take these and give them a bend. And I'm going to slightly go a little bit lower, and I'm going to give these a little bit of a flat turn so they're a little bit lower down here, okay? On the front end. So when I turn, it's just for me to put placement in. I'll turn it back so you can see. These are going to go a little flat from this front corner. And look how pretty. I love her. All right, we're not even finished, but she looks great, and she's very dramatic, and she's in the garden just kind of busting out. So we've got some berries to put in, and we definitely have to finish with our greenery to kind of fill her out a little bit more. So we're going to grab our berries, and we picked out the lime green. These look great with this because they have that frosted look. They're going to pull out the pretty bright green from the leaves and everything. These come where they're clustered like this. Just take and cut that off, and then we're ready to work with them individually. Now, these, like a lot of berry stems that are wired and like premium, if you can open them up a little, basically you're just going to get a little more bang for your buck and spread them out. They have a good leaf in there. We're totally good with it. And our plan is I think we're going to put 5 on the front and just 1 on the back, because the back is just going to be a little bit of coverage. And these are so pretty. So I think we'll plan for 2, a centerpiece, and 2 on the right. So we're going to start with a couple of them that are a little bit high kind of coming out. So I'd like for it to come between the berries right here. So I want you to kind of measure the stem and see what height you need. Because we have a transition point running right here, you know you're going to have 2 on the left, 2 on the right, then you'll have 1 in the middle to kind of make it a nice placement. Okay, so here comes my first one, and she's not really tucked in. She's out here high and proud and loud. I need to hear her crunch really good though. There you go. Okay, her first one's in. Now I'm going to put my same one on the right now, okay? It's going to go right here to the back hind end. Right here. And there's a lot of stems in there, so if you hit one, you got to move it. Okay, so I'm going to rotate that just a little where that leaf's up a little bit higher. See, they're not identically same spot. All right, let's do one a little bit lower and long and kind of coming out a little bit. I'm going to give it a curve forward. So you see me curving it forward before I put it in. Right down there. Remember, it's okay to cut a little longer. That way you don't have to end up adding a stem. Or you can push it a little harder into the foam. This one's going to go right here. It's going to go back just a little bit. So it kind of comes down, and one more back here. Okay, let's come over here on the right. It doesn't have to be identical. You can just kind of play in the same kind of ballpark. It's fine. Come right here. Pretty. Bending it forward just a little bit. There we go. And this one, I'm going to bring one down a little. I don't love things identical, so you're going to see me kind of... They're going to be in that placement, but we're going to move them a little bit. And my last one in the middle. And then these berries will be in. This one I'm going to make a little shorter because I don't really want her flying out the front. She's going to go right here. Okay. And now, take a second to pull the cherry blossoms back in there. You can tighten up the heads a little if you don't like them quite so open. That's fine. Oh, but I like that airiness that creates too. Look how pretty. Now she's loaded with berries up down here at the bottom. This berry's being saved for the back, and these cherry blossoms are going to go in the back. So that's going to be a little surprise area back there. Now, I need to utilize fishtail fern up here to fill in, to like break up this middle design here. So what I want you to do first is take 3 of these stems, push them up shorties, and where they're kind of short, but they're wispy like that. Okay, see them? And we're going to cut these to just, let's go 4 inches on there. And I'm going to bring them in. And we're going to just go between, I'm going to go one right here between these stems. So I'm going right in front of where we put a stem of a twig in. There's one. Now this one back here. So this one needs to go to the left just a little bit. And it just kind of balances that out a little, guys. And you don't just see like a harsh stem going into the base. Pretty. Then our third one's going to work right down back over here because that's where that brown stem is, okay? That's the one we kind of put on its side, so move that forward this way. I think that's so pretty. Okay, and you go in there. All right. Oh, that looks excellent. So I might want one more piece of fishtail kind of working forward. If I take one more, it'll still leave me 3 for the back, so I'm okay with that. Let me take one more. And we're going to move this one towards me. Right here, just kind of coming out the center. Okay, we made it nice and wispy. I want to show you at an angle how pretty that looks now. So here's what we got going on the front. Nice and wispy and full, and then the twigs kind of making that fun little playground that way, and then these kind of coming forward. Okay, we're on the back side where we have our small block of foam. We could have cut this a little smaller, but you run the risk that it's too small and then you could possibly break it. I feel like it's a little bit safer keeping it a little bit bigger, okay? Now, I'm going to take my cherry blossom stems that we had left from earlier, and we're going to cut these all super duper short into super duper small sections like this. I'm going to get the other one. And we are going to use these to kind of cover up the majority of the foam block and make this a nice little fun cluster back here on the back. So I'm trimming everybody really small. Now what we want to do, and what you might consider doing, is also just kind of sticking some in and letting it kind of drape down like here. So I'm going to take a couple of pieces and make sure they're pretty short and put them in. So it kind of saves you some time, and I'm going to put that with some glue, and we'll just come in here to the right. And now I made this little bitty bouquet that just tucked in there, and it's kind of going over the foam. Now, if you want to, you could take and cover it with ribbon and then have everything come out the front. That'd be okay too, but I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try to just keep it all natural back here. So I'm going to do the same thing, make these into little bitty stems by twisting and then cutting. Okay, now I'm going to come on the other side here, right at the front. So they're covering up the foam by draping over, but I'm not sticking them all into the foam to hide. I'm going to cut this eucalyptus a little shorter right here, and then we'll push some of it in right here. So it's a little bit of detail work back here, but you can find this fun when you do small little pieces. They can be kind of, I don't know, therapeutic to some extent to get into the little detail work. All right, let's come on this side. Push this piece in. I'm going to bring that fern down, let that kind of hang down. Because we can also just take a little Spanish moss and hide that. No problem. So I'm going to twist this around. We're going to go ahead and cut that eucalyptus shorter right now. Trim it. Come on this side. Now I'm going to work on this little side. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit. You guys can see. I got a little bit of white berry here, so let me make sure I get some here. And the nice thing is if they do use this on a table, it's finished on the back. See, in that case, I forgot to twist it first. So now I can still do it, but it makes more sense to do it first while it's all tied together. But I like finishing the backs a little bit more polished sometimes, just so that it still looks good, you know. And this will look like a little bouquet just on her hip on the back. It'll be no big deal back here. Okay. And now, if you pull this all up, you can see a little bit of foam there. So I will put a little Spanish moss tucked in around there. Or I will come and trim it with my ribbon so it looks like a little burlap basket on the back. Either way. Okay, so you can see here. Whatever you want to do. But we covered up all the mechanics of the glue up here. And she looks good, good, good. Now we've got a little berry cluster for her to have back here. I got one more piece I'm trimming down. Cutting down my eucalyptus. Let's go over here on the right. Be careful when you dip these, they're so short. Yep. Oh, that's cute. Oh, the leaf came off. You little booger. That's okay. We've got one more piece. I'll put it right there. All right, so that's looking really cute and finished. All right, now I'm going to add my little berry cluster right in here, kind of up a little higher because I've got a lot of branches going on. So we saved one for there. She doesn't need to be too tall, just right about there. And just pull these forward. She's going to go in right there. There you go. Super duper cute. So we created a little arrangement right here on the back of her hip. Now let's turn her back around. I'll open the camera back up. And what I want to show you is where we're going to add a little bit more greenery to the foreground. She looks so adorable, guys. And you don't have to do that kind of detail work on the back, but I really feel like that type of thing always helps you stand apart and give a really clean, neat, finished product. Okay, I'm happy. This looks great down here. You can see how cute she looks from that angle right here. She's adorable. I want a little bit of fishtail, like shorter down here, kind of poofing out of that zone. So in that case, I want the stems up a little, but I still need to cut them really long because I got to get down to the bottom. So I'm going to trim these off long like this, and then let's bring it in. I'm seeing if I need to cut it down more. That's all I'm doing here. Gotta turn it around, y'all. I think it works. Okay, so I'm gonna take her around a little bit of a spin, but I think she works right here. I'm sorry if you can't see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm going right where the twigs were, and then I'm going, putting this greenery in front of the twig, matching that curve. So, see, it came out right here, right between it. Okay, my next one, I'm going to have it kind of go right here because I'll lose a lot of it if I try to comb through the ears. So we're going to have this one go right there. And I know I'm going to have to cut it a little bit shorter, so I'm going to push it up a little bit more. And it has to have a pretty big bend because she has a hip we're trying to get over on the other side too, which makes this so stinking cute. Yeah, right there. That'll work perfect. Let's bring that in right there. Let's see if I can do that from the front. I don't know what I'm thinking. I gotta turn it. Oh, I come through the front, but I gotta watch and direct it because I'll just hit the hip and then I'll just have glue everywhere. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Okay, she's coming. Yep, right there. And then my final little piece is going to be, because I'm working in this little quadrant right here. It's hard to see when you guys are coming from above. I'm just do a short little piece right here that just fills in right there and it pops over. So it's just going to be a nice little cluster. Yep, and I'm going to keep it on a long stem. That's why I love this particular greenery. It's just so good, especially for the spring work where we can just fill in. And it needs a little bend because it's got to get over all of that. So I'm going to take one hand, come here, bring her forward. Hey, dang, she's so cute. I love this neutral collection we've been working on. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. There we go. She needs to go in a little tighter. I think I'm hitting another stem. Yep. There we go. Okay. Let's turn her around, and now I filled in right there. Oh my gosh, so cute. So I did not change out the bow. I left the bow. I thought it was pretty simple and subtle. But I will tell you something that's very cute. If you just want to make the design on the back or you just want to make the design on the front, you can do that. You can take over here and take this bow off. You can just use some pliers to pull it off and it will tear off. You'll be able to pull that out. And you can make her a little bow right here if you don't want the metal, but I think it works just fine with our design. And she's dramatic, but she is soft and sweet too. So if you're a seller, you know, you want to play with some more dramatic pieces, this is a great piece to try. If you want something like this for your home, it's super duper cute, and you can lead her into whatever. Like here, she's leading over into my cute little cherry blossom tree, and she's gonna look adorable under it. You know what I mean? Adorable. Go have fun with flowers. I know you can do this.
Today we're going to start with a 14-inch grapevine vase, and this is just a really nice vine one that is, I try to pick out the best I can, but I'm always teaching in design school, you're going to get wreaths that aren't the greatest shape. So
remember, there's a wreath you can make on all the shapes. This particular kit does not come with the wreath base, so you can make it on any base you want. But today we're working with a 14-inch grapevine. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our main character in this wreath, and he is this cute, it's a really cute bunny head, and he's going to go right in the center. And we are going to go ahead. I got to leave a little room for my big bow, and I think it'd be really cute to have my big bow at the bottom. So I'm going to shift him up and over a little, so I leave a little area down here. We have the bow video for you also, so make sure you ask for that in the comments, or you head over to the link for this kit. There'll be a link right there where you can see how to make the bow too when we get to that point. So let's go ahead and prep him up a little. We're going to cut off his little hanger. He comes with a little cute little hanger, and you can get these bunny heads without the kits on our website also, but we try to make it really, really easy for you to get everything all in one, and you don't have to go shopping to find what you need to make it. So I'm going to put him right here, and we're going to use some little wood dowels to poke him in. Most of our wreath attachments, I try to have them designed on foam, so they're really, really easy to put together. So we're going to come in with a couple of dowels in here and just kind of use friction to hold him in place. I want to make sure I'm going into his head. Let's do one more up from the top. So I'm just kind of weaving it in and out of the grapevine, and then make sure we're puncturing his either his hat or his chin. So when you end up with 3 different points of attachment, you're good to go. I'm going to trim that off. And now he's in, just like that. Really, really easy. Okay. And in design school, we do something called setting the perimeter of our design. So I told you today's video is a little sneak peek behind that curtain because class is closing at the end of the month. So you've got to get in before the end of this month. Otherwise, you're going to miss all the great spring content we have in there for you and the new things that are coming. I'm going to take this greenery. This is called our fishtail fern. It's also exclusive to Cleese.com, just like the bunny. We're going to take and just push this up a little, but I want it nice and wispy. And we'll cut this whole bush down. We're going to start to put some of this in our design. Okay. There it is, all trimmed out, and let's go ahead and start to put it in. I love this greenery because it's so wispy and really, really looks great in your wreath or your arrangement. Holds up really, really well in the weather too. Now, as I'm putting these into the grapevine, I use Spanish moss to kind of hide any mechanics. Now, that won't be in your kit, but you're more than welcome to get it on the website separately. We'll have a link there for you. I'm using the light green right now. All right. So I got a couple of pieces going up there. Now, we're going to leave a little space for a bow. Sometimes we use bows in our designs, sometimes we don't. A bow is a really great way to fill in an area and make it super, super simple to kind of cover some real estate. You know, fill it in. Fill it in. All right, I'm going to come on this side of his head, and we're going to kind of do the same thing. I want to work that in, that grapevine right there. Put a little moss on. You could also put moss on your dowel rods if you needed to hide them. I'm just going to kind of wait till we're a little bit further into the design to worry about that too much. Okay, so I'm going to put him there, and let's kind of work our way down. And if they're a little longer than you want, the nice thing about our fern, you could push it up and adjust that size. I am always throwing those cutters down. Apparently it's where I get my stress out. Honey bunny, I save you by throwing my cutters down. Poor honey bunny's like, you're roping me into this wreath today? I'm innocent. I'm innocent, honey. You think he is? I don't think he is. I think we need to blame him for something. You know, now that all my videos are done at the studio here and they're not at the bloom room at home anymore, I I can't blame him if I lose a tool. I literally cannot blame him because it's not his fault. That's terrible. That is just terrible. Oh, I want to blame it on him. Nope, no such luck. Do you guys do that with your spouses or your significant others? Do you do that? Man, blame them. Okay, I worked all the way around the perimeter, and now I'm going to kind of come a couple of short pieces on the inside because I wanted to tuck into this little hole right here. So let's get our second bush and really, really use that in there. So I'm just pushing it up. Push up, push up. I need a push song, like, to push it up. Push it real good. I hope you guys can't hear that music in the background too much. Someone has pulled up outside the warehouse and is jamming out. When they first got here, I was filming design school class and it was shaking the walls. It was like, brr, brr. Y'all, it was shaking my brain. So I said to the design school class, I said, okay guys, I might just pause this and come back in a minute. But just as I said that, sure enough, went off. So at least it's a little more muted now. But I didn't want to go out there and, you know, have a confrontation or anything. I don't know a lot of the neighbors over here as well as I do on the other side. So I don't cause no trouble. We're going to be good neighbors. But I'm vibrating in here. And it's not the kind of vibrating I want. It's not a good foot massage, y'all. So I put those two in, just kind of snuggling up against his cheek. Isn't that adorable? I just love him. He is super duper cute. Look, he is so cute. He's rocking. So his greenery is in. Now I can kind of see this little dowel rod right here. And I'm going to get that covered with flowers, so I'm not too worried about it. So what you want to do now is grab your next floral in this kit, and that is this hyacinth. I love hyacinths in real life and in the springtime designs. I love them. I'm not going to use their greenery. I rarely do, because unless we buy a really fancy hyacinth, it's going to be just regular silk leaf. And I just like these flowers. They're just so pretty. So we're going to cut these off. They have a little notch here. And that is just a simple tip. Sometimes when something is notched somewhere, if you can cut it there, it's going to be easier to cut with your cutters. So if you'll look here, you see this right here? That little notch, that's where I'm going to cut it. Okay? I'm going to cut it right along there. And basically that's about 6 inches. So I am just chopping broccoli. Okay, they're all chopped down and they're off. And let's use these in. I'm going to use a little on the right side and a little on the left. It's going to be a little balanced as we put these in. So let's get started. And we can always trim the stems a little bit more. But I'm going to kind of put one here, kind of going between my pretty little fern. You hit it with a little moss. Let's get in there, buddy. Yes. And then let's work down from that a little right here. So I'm going to trim this one down. Pop it in. Come on in, you cutie. Stick in there. Yeah, it looks so sweet. I love it. Now let's go to the other side. We'll get a couple in there. And just kind of have a little on the right and a little on the left. All right. I'm still leaving that area open for the bow. Remember our bow zone. Welcome to the bow zone. This is the bow zone, where people will be making bows and putting their bows in their wreaths. And there'll be no crazy Twilight Zone or no crazy music playing. Please. All right, I'm going to put one more right here. We'll kind of have that one poking out a little bit. Right under this cute little bunny's chin. I just love to make them look like they're just in the garden out here. I just think it's so sweet. Yeah. Okay, great start, right? We've got the bunny, we have got the hyacinth, and we've got the greenery. And we've got a great shape established where he is the primary. I love his little glasses. So cute. Now,
I would like to go ahead and put the bow in next, because then we're going to fill in a bunch of beautiful roses all around what we've got going. So let's go ahead and put our bow in. Now remember, I told you we tied this on another video. So I'd love for you to go see that video and see how we did it step by step. So we'll put that in the comments, ask for it, or you can also go directly to the website, to the link for this kit, and it will always have a link to the bow. Because when you buy a kit from us, what we do is we make sure you get a QR code so you don't have to go hunt for the video. All right, just like when you're in design school, everything is in a portal, organized, you have your passwords and you have your special discount codes. We just try to make it really easy so you can use the things we sell and make beautiful things, because we know once you do that and you complete those projects, you're gonna come back and you're gonna want to do it again, because it's so much fun. Like wreathing and creating and crafting is so much fun. All right, I'm gonna put this in right here in the back. And we're putting it in that area of the bow zone. Yay! Okay, let's get in there and get it tight. Let's go. All right, get it nice and tight. All right, and then I'm gonna trim off the end of that. And then I'll rotate it around. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He's like popping up against his little cheek. You're like adorable. It's adorable already. All right, get this down a little bit. Get your tails working for you. Want those tails going, and I want this just tucking right into him, but doesn't have to cover up his whole face, just right beside it. Just like that, okay? And we'll get him straightened up. Now, that is cute, but we are not happy with that yet. We got more to go. So I'm gonna take my last hyacinth and we're gonna use that up above his head. I wanted to kind of get these in first so that I can get a good shape going and figure out exactly how much we have working around here. Now, around the bow, we're going to work in that greenery that we didn't use yet. So we can kind of layer this bow out. And that's always a great tip, to kind of tuck in and manipulate all of this to get all those layers in that bow separated with the greenery. I think that's pretty. Okay, let's come in here. And you can't just go into the ribbon. That doesn't work. But you have to kind of separate the layers of the ribbon and then put the greenery in and then pull it into the bow. Right? Just like that. And I'll bring it down a little so you don't have to smoke that up your nose with the greenery, buddy. So I tuck that in right there. Now let's come to the outside. This is just too fun. So kind of like, you know, you got your background dancers and you got your main star. Well, the bunny's the main star, the bow's the main star, and then the greenery is like our background dancers. It's kind of coming up stage, going back, moving around. That's exactly what we're doing with it right here. So it's working its way into the program, I'll tell you that. And all of a sudden your bow doesn't look like it's just on there. It looks like it's in there, part of it. The huge difference. Can you tell that? Can you see that difference? Look at that bow now. Yeah. Yes. That bow now looks amazing with all that greenery in there. See it? So perfect. So the last two pieces in our kit are a beautiful rose. It's got this really curly leaf. I love that one in the center. And then we've got a filler flower that is a little rose. We're going to mix these in here, starting with these roses. So I'm going to take, and we're going to trim them off to where they got like a 5-inch stem or so here. And I'm going to leave this greenery on the stem. So we're going to do that with each one to where they're just a little bloom there. I'm going to break those all down. And we're going to get these in next. So we're just trimming those off. Just trimming. So that one has a little leaf on it, but I'll probably trim that off when we get that far. I love the color on these. They even have like a little purple down here. so now that we've got all of our bush cut down, I'm going to put these in like little clusters of 2 with 1 bloom up and 1 bloom down. I'm not going to do anything special, but just trim them at the same length. And I'm making sure that they have no leaves on them. And we're going to start to tuck these in. Right here, we're going to begin with some at the base of the bow. I'm going to move this over and we're going to put this one right here at the top. So this is a different color of pink. It's a little bit muted, but I think it adds a super duper richness because I must tell you, we've got the darker tones in the wreath base that I chose, and the bunny itself. We've got this little brown fuzzy ears and the bunny skin that's made out of the little sisal. I think it's just really, really neat. So put those 2 in there, and then let's have a couple come out the bottom too. So I'm going to pick a couple of longer ones. We'll just get rid of that leaf. And then I just have to kind of trim any little bits off. You don't want it to look like it's missing something. So, because I sell my wreaths, and I want to make sure that when I'm done, I don't want the customer to think, well, I'm missing a leaf. No, that leaf was never in your design. But they don't know that, right? So we just trim that little attachment piece off. Okay, there are those 2 together. And let's put those coming from the bottom of our bow. So I'm going to separate out the tails. And we're going to go right underneath here. Just kind of have those tuck in too. I like these to be a little tighter to the base. Let that greenery shoot out, but this is a little tighter. Oh, that's so lush in there. I love these blooms. That's so pretty. Okay, let's use a little bit more. We're going to take our little leaves off. And this one has all that purple in the bottom. It's so pretty. This one has a little rose hip with it. I'll just leave it with it. That's fine. And then I'm going to stagger them a little higher, a little lower to give us some good impact in there. And then I'm going to take and just give them a little motion. Y'all, I can't even believe it's already time for design school to close for the season again. So I want to remind you guys we only open up a couple times a year and onboard new students several at a time. So this is our spring season coming up. So get in class. Right there. Ooh, 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 ooh. So pretty. That little bit of purple. I love that. All right, let's use some down here. See that line working? Oh, that's a little Freudian slip. I let it go. That's a design school thing. We were working that line. Yep. That's okay. I can tell y'all. Uh-oh. I hear the musicians moving out. I shouldn't say musicians, the musical players. All right, here's our 2. We're gonna come over here. Let's just have these going right by his little chin. Oh no. Do you hear it? I spoke too soon. Like, dude, it's time to go home. Keep rolling. I think they're rolling on. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cute right there. Just tucked in right under his little chin. Oh, ooh, 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 this is so pretty, guys. Okay, let's put one more right over there or right here. Let me look back. You always gotta step back and take a look at what you're working on. Oh, I love all the pink in here. It is fantastic. Let's go. Let's go with one more. I think we'll tuck it in right here, kind of behind the bow, just in case we need to have a little better coverage. Okay. Now, once all the main flowers are in, like we just finished in the last one, hot. Dang it, you got me burnt on the last one. Be nice. Buddy, I thought we were friends. I thought we were looking beautiful, buddy. All right, now we're going to use our pink filled flower, and this one has a little bit different pink, so mixing the 3 different pinks is really beautiful. So I'm just going to take and pull these out of here. We'll just pull each little flower, and I'm going to leave the other pieces. We can use those on something else. I just want the flowers this time. A
thought you were going home, Mr. Musical Man, with your vibrating truck. Thought you were driving home, but you're still here. No, I think he's gone. I think they're gone. Oh, mother. All right, so I pulled out all of my cute little baby roses, and we're going to use those in here because they've got like little bitty, like a baby's breath on there, and then the little roses, they're going to go great. And we're going to kind of mix these in between our bigger flowers that we already have in. So I'm just going to take one, we're going to go right in here, just tuck it in, and I'm going to make sure it just kind of flops out of there. We don't want it tight, we want it to kind of come out. Come out and party with us, right? We're going to put one right in here, kind of coming out on these flowers over here. Right here. And I'm just pushing that in, that can just tuck right there. That looks great. Beautiful. Let's put one coming out this way. This is kind of coming out the bow a little bit. That would be excellent. I can't believe how stinking cute this is. We have rocked it out together, y'all. I'm loving it. Okay. So we've got one here, and one up here a little higher. So to finish it off, we're just going to tuck that one in right by his cheek, and I'm just going to give this a twist. Oh yeah. Right here, buddy. It's going to be your little cheek mate. You get it? So checkmate. Cheekmate. Let me show you. Let me show you. It's so cute. Let me pull that grass down just a little bit so I don't cover up his face too much. He is so cute. Look at him. I love him. So for kind of a little final touch, what I'll do is I'm going to take and I'll decide before I take pictures of them and list them in my Etsy shop. I'll decide if I want to leave the ribbons just kind of flowing down. Sometimes I do that. Or if we want to curl them up, all I got to do is just take my fingers and just like if you're putting a curler in your hair, you can curl into little ringlets. My final piece of greenery, I usually just send back and I see where I could add it in. And we did so good with the greenery here. I think I'd like one little piece kind of breaking up that top section just a little. But I just loved how we packed the flowers in and just really let them shine in here. So I think it looks amazing. So what do you think? Are you ready to try? Here's all the supplies you get in this puppy, and we're gonna make it adorable. Y'all, you're gonna get 2 full rolls of ribbon. You're going to get this great base. It's the cutest Easter egg door hanger. And then we've got coordinating ribbons to rock out some beautiful bows to go all together. Yep, when you get a little sparkle and a little foliage and of course some little yellow balls. We're talking beautiful, and I want to show you how to make it. So come on in, y'all. I'm Kali with Kali's.com, and this is our latest kit. What I'm going to do right now is show you how to go ahead and prep your base. You are going to need a little bit of floral foam. That's not going to come in the kit, but you can pick that up at your local craft store. And these are basically floral foam I've cut into 2 small blocks. And you're going to put them opposite, and it's up to you. You can have them on the right and the left, or the left and the right. And I think I'm going to go the left and the right, just so this one can have its happy little Easter sign showing. And what I want you to do first is put a little Gorilla Glue down. I like that to help hold our glue, as well as hot glue. I've got my electric skillet loaded with hot glue right here, and we will be using it. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I cranked it up. Do you ever do that? I cranked it up to get it, melted quickly. But don't do that because it's not smart. It could get too hot. I was cheating. So I'm going to put a little bit of that there, and then I'm going to go opposite over here. Just kind of right on the edge of our base. Then let me get our 2 little blocks. And these are like 3 by 3 little blocks of foam, and they're kind of thinner, not really thick. I'm going to dip it in, just kind of scrape it off a little. And this is how we're going to go ahead and mount our florals on this design. So I'm going to take this one and just push it right down here. Push it in. And then one more at the top. Right?
Now, you might want to also have a little floral foam, and that's to catch the backside here, so later your hot glue back here won't show. And you can just put that on while it's hot. And down here, the same thing on that little bit of a backside. That way, if somebody has like a glass door and they're gonna hang it, you're not gonna see like messy glue. You'll just see some nice little sweet foam on the back. Okay, so those are in place. And now the fun part starts. We're gonna put the florals together. When I'm teaching in design school, a lot of times we use greenery to do something called setting the perimeter. We're gonna do that same thing today. We're gonna use our greenery bush that comes in the kit right in the background. So if you would like a link to grab this kit and make this exact piece, we'll put that in the comments here, or just ask. And I am just gonna make these a little shorter and then trim them down, my wire cutters, and we'll start to set a little bit of our perimeter with our greenery. And we don't need these really long, just trimming those all off. So I'm gonna start to put a little of this kind of going on either side of this foam, kind of spacing it out. We're going to put 2 pieces on to start with. And then we're going to make these just a little bit smaller once we get our first few pieces in. See how pretty that is? And we're able to frame out kind of the shape of the egg. Now what I want you to do is take your next piece and cut it in half. And we'll be able to have that kind of coming out the top. Right here, beautiful, and one on the other side. So that gets us started up here really nice. And we've got our 4 pieces in this piece, okay? Now let's come to the bottom. Down here at the bottom, we're gonna do kind of the same thing, but I'm just gonna have this, instead of going the same way, we're gonna have it kind of go up and down. So I'm gonna let this piece just shoot on down, right from the center of the foam, but kind of coming out. And then let's take one of these and cut it in half and kind of go on either side. So we're basically doing the same thing we did up here, just kind of changing our direction. Oh, nice, and right here. So we've got those 3 pieces in, we've got 4 up here. We've basically set our perimeter with our greenery. So it's a great starting point, and we're ready to put the next layer in. So the next layer of this design is going to be this pink floral stem. It is great. It's got some really cute pink florals and a little bit of a purple pink. And with these, we don't need them super long, so we're just going to trim them off like this. Just take and tear them down. You can save that wire for another project. And then take and just cut these off. All these little messy pieces, we're just going to cut each one of these off. Now, I am going to divide each one of these into a couple of sections just by kind of separating them, just like this. All right? And then we'll kind of crisscross the wires that are left there and twist these leaves around. You really want the leaves facing forward if possible. Okay, get that floral head up, and we've got a nice little cluster there. Now we're going to put that in up top, and I'm just crisscrossing those if they come unwired a little bit or unwrapped. And we're going to push these in right here, kind of to the front of the foam. We're going to have a bow in there hiding all that goodies. So let's just have this little leaf pick go down here. That looks good. And then we can have this one go out to the other side. So I'm just going to cut this one too, and we'll, all those wires are loose because we cut it short, but don't worry, just twist it around. And we'll make our own little cluster. Don't need any extra tools. Now give that a little twirl in the glue pot, and we'll have this one come out to this side. We got a good start. We got a little bit of the bright pink, a little bit more of the purpley pink. On either side, we still have room for our bow in there. Probably work these a little more up and down. Now let's come to the bottom. We'll take another one of these sprays. We'll do that same thing and just separate it out. I'm going to bring these flowers out. We'll have this kind of work on either side here. Just have fun with these. Even if you want to tear them all the way down, that's fine too. Into their own little wires, because we're going into foam here. So I'll put a little leaves going in between here. That looks great. Let's see what else. I've got a little fern here. I'll trim that off. Let's put it on the other side. Yeah, that's good. That adds a nice little texture there. Now here come some of my little flowers. Let's put one of those where it's going to trail right out the middle of the bow and kind of come down here. Just like that. Okay? So I've got a kind of a start with the pink florals in there. And I am going to get the bows in next. So we make the bows on a different video. So we'll link that here if you don't know how to make your own bows. And you'll have that access. It'll also be on the supply list when you buy the kit so you can get to the bows. But we've got two different bows going. We made one that's a long tail bow, and that'll go down here at the bottom and really work really cute down here. So let's put it in first. And we put U-pins on these bows. And so I can just put some glue on that and press this into the foam. And what you want to do is, if you want yours to look like mine, you want to go on the top of the foam and push this in so this bow sits up really pretty like that. Now work some of these tails behind the greenery. Okay, here and here, and then leave these kind of up front. And I like to curl those. Move that flower to the middle. Now we still have greenery and foliage we're going to add all in here, but you can see what an impact the bows make. Man, they're good. So now let's put the top bow in. This one we made a little bit different. We made it a funky bow where it has 3 loops and then 2 loops and a little tail in the center. And this time I put this one kind of sideways. So once the bows are in, we are able to go to town with these pink florals and our yellow balls. I'm really excited about them. Okay, so let's have this kind of go sideways. And this time I'm going into the front of the foam. Now work your florals in here. There's our first one. Our other one's over here. So pull it in. Look how cute this is. Our little happy Easter sign is still showing. Looking great. Now, we're not done. This is where we are right now. But we're going to take it to the next level. Isn't this cute? I love this. All right. Grab your yellow balls. We're going to work these in next on this spray. And what we want to do is just kind of pull these all apart into their little clusters. And we want to have these kind of popping out of the top especially. So I've got a little bit of pink flowers left still too, and these are my next big fun item. So we can't use these as long as they are. They're a little bit too long, but I'm going to take and just cut them on the stem into different sections. Like here can be a double, and then here can be a single, all right? So let's just start up at the top. And I think it'll be really cute just to kind of have it come out of the bow up here. Look how fun this is going to be. This is going to be fun. This is so adorable. This is so fun to make, y'all. And I love this color combo. That yellow is just popping with the pink. Here comes this one. We'll have it kind of come down under here. Just put that right under the bow. And now we've got our balls on the right side. Let's put some balls on the left side. All right? So grab a little bit more. Here we go. I'll do the exact same trim up job. This one a little bit shorter. And so if we did it on the right, we're going to do it on the left. We'll tuck this behind. This is just tickling me so much. It's so cute. I love putting these balls and things. They just always they just dance. And when the wind blows, these things dance on your door. And they move, and they're just so cute. All right, we got a couple more that we're going to use down here.
And right now, if you notice at the bottom of our design, let me bring it up a little bit. See if you can see it. So at the bottom of our design, nothing's coming up, it's just going down. And that's kind of important to this look of this design and the direction we have things going. So in design school, we're always learning that. We're learning how spacing, direction, depth, all that makes a huge difference. So we're gonna do some of that today too. Even though this is a simple door hanger, we can take a little more time to put these pieces in to kind of create those same types of lines. So I'm gonna take, I got some glue strings on here. Get out of here, glue. And we're gonna start with our first set of the balls just kind of going straight down, all right? Going right where we had the other, oh, I stuck that right into my hand. Thank goodness it's not that hot. Right where we had that pink flower. So these will kind of come out. And I am going to, he's flopping around because he's on top of my other hanger up there. He's not going to flop on your door when you make them. Those are going to come down there. And then I'm just going to do a little bit on each side with these other pieces here. So let me get this paper off. Sometimes when you tear it, you'll have a little paper. It's no big deal, just pull that off. And we're going to go a little bit on the right, a little bit on the left. Yeah, oh my gosh, I love it. Trim this one. Then our final step is going to be to grab our leftover greenery and kind of work that down here at the bottom. And then a little bit of pink up there at the top, I think would be cute, of this bottom bow right here. So let's take these and make them a little smaller. So one nice thing about our exclusive fishtail fern is we can take and divide it into smaller sections. We're going to have one little piece popping up first. So not a lot coming up, just a little touch. And now we'll have more coming down. Right here in the middle, I need some. Yep, pretty. And then I need a little bit up here at the top, kind of underneath the bow. I need a little pop of this. So I'm going to divide it into some smaller pieces. Yeah, look at that. I love it. And then on the right, bring that ribbon out of there. Perfect. So we're done with greenery. We're done with our yellow balls. So cute. I mean, she is ready. Now I'm going to pop back in here, and we're going to work with our pink flowers that are remaining. And there's not a whole lot, but we're going to use these all individually. So when I pull them off there, they all have a nice little wire that can go into this foam, no problem. And you want to use these like the little delicate details. We're going to pop these in between each little layer here, okay? So I'm going to pop this one in here. And let's go with a couple above. Just a little touch kind of popping up. Not a whole lot going up, just a little. And one more of the nice flowers, just kind of right in the center. Let's put a little bit at the top. I've got some really good like ivy looking leaf here. So we can use this maybe up at the top up there. That would be pretty, kind of going the same direction as that yellow ball. And it's got one pink flower on it, so I'll use that up there. It's right here in the middle. And that can shoot up, and I'll bring that little ivy in there. It's really cute. And then I'm going to use this little cluster coming out of the bottom of the top bow.
So you can see how much fun you can have with this. A little bit more greenery, and I think I'll use that right at the top here too. Cut it down short. Why don't you push this one a little? No, you cannot push. That one's wired. Okay. There it is. There's your Easter egg. That turned into a beautiful project, and it's going to look amazing on your door. So simple and easy to make. I know you can do it. You guys grab this kit before they sell out because this one's going to go quick. Y'all have fun with flowers, Bloomerino's. I'll see you next time.